Yeah. All right, we've got quorum, it appears to be here. I'm going to ask the clerk to call a roll.
Senator Albritton, Senator Butler, Senator Chastain, Senator Figures, Senator Gudger, Senator Hatcher, Senator Hovey, Senator Melson, Senator Roberts, Senator Schofield, Senator Sessions, Senator Singleton, Senator Smitherman, Senator Wagner, Senator Allen, Senator Orr.
Here. All right, 12 members are here, and we appreciate your attendance this Wednesday morning coming into town. Hope you all recovered from Thursday and Friday and had a good weekend. All right, clerk, call the first bill, please.
House Bill 51 by Representative Ellis.
Representative Ellis, is he here? Do we know? All right, let's, you know anything about it?
I'm gonna have some questions now. You better be ready.
All right, let's,
You ain't gonna wing it now, baby.
let's
You gotta
carry
come
the
on.
representative's bill over. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, HB 51 is carried over. Clerk, call the next bill, which has been removed, and HB 85, it has passed. The Senate version has passed. Clerk, call the next bill, please.
House Bill 132 by Representative Smith.
Representative Smith. Guess the representative slept in today. Is there a motion to carry over HB 132?
So moved.
Seconded. All right. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right.
House Bill 133 by Representative Rafferty.
Representative Rafferty. Good morning.
Good morning. All right. Well, thank you for the recognition. Thank you, and good morning, members. So what HB 133 does is it establishes the Alabama Preceptor Tax Incentive Program. So as we've been hearing across the state, there's been workforce issues in multiple industries, and healthcare is no different. Major issue is that unlike other industries, the healthcare industry faces a lot of unique challenges to it. This issue and the workforce shortage has really hit rural Alabama particularly hard, and will continue to, particularly as we have an aging population. There's a major issue with the retention and retaining of our natural talent here in Alabama due to a dearth of training opportunities for preceptorships. And it's kind of forcing these students to go out of state in order to find that training opportunity elsewhere. And a preceptorship is oftentimes kind of a gateway into an industry. It can be a way to find your first job. And then what folks end up doing is usually setting up shop, getting families and planting their roots somewhere else besides Alabama. I do have a friendly amendment that I'm going to be proposing at the appropriate time, but at this time, I'm welcome to answer or address.
Okay, Senator Smitherman.
No, I was going. I actually was going to move before he said the amendment. Move for favorable report.
Right.
Simply because after I got a chance to really look in, it's going to help rural Alabama tremendously a lot to get medical help and people that they need. So I'm all for trying to help them any way I can.
Okay, let me offer the amendment, Senator, which you all should have. It's a reporting amendment. I'm going to move it. Is there a second? Second, Senator Smitherman. Any discussion on the reporting amendments that have been circulated? All right, clerk, call the roll on that.
Senator Albritton, Senator Butler, Senator Chastain, Senator Figurs, Senator Gudger, Senator Hatcher, Senator Hovey, Senator Melson, Senator Roberts, Senator Schofield, Senator Sessions, Senator Singleton, Senator Smitherman,
Aye.
Senator Wagner, Senator Allen, Senator Orr.
14 ayes, 0 nays. The amendment is adopted. We're on the bill. Is there a motion, Senator Smitherman?
So moved,
Is there
Mr. Chairman.
seconded by Senator Roberts. Is it Senator Melson? Sure.
So is precept the minimum amount of students that they would take or a maximum amount? Apologize, I hadn't read.
Right. So the total amount that they would be able to do is 12 preceptorships within one tax year. This is on the engrossed version of the bill. Let's see if I can find that for you. On page 6, line 147 through 149. So an individual shall not accrue more than 12 clinical preceptorships of any of the above categories in one calendar year.
So there is a max,
Right. Correct. Yes, sir.
and it's just determined by their program, the number of weeks in their rotation.
Correct.
So if I get 4 weeks psychiatry, which is a 10-week med surgical elective, would it pay the same?
So it would pay the same based off of one of 3 different categories that would be based under. So if we get them here, let's see. So a community-based dentist, physician, or optometrist preceptor shall be a credit of $500 per person, up to an annual maximum of $6,000. A community-based assistant or physician preceptor or physician assistant preceptor shall be allowed a credit of $425 per rotation, up to a maximum of $5,100. And a community-based nurse practitioner, certified nurse midwife, certified registered nurse anesthetist preceptor would be $425 per rotation for a maximum of $5,100 per year. Yes, sir.
All right, any other questions? Before we vote, I would compliment Senator Melson, who came with an ask in the budget for medical residencies for rural areas, and we wound up putting that ultimately in the Bibb County facility. I forget the name, the Cahaba something, I think.
Cahaba Valley.
Cahaba Medical, that they do a really good job for our state in training rural primary care doctors. So kind of hitting it on both sides here with this bill and what we did in the budget. So no other questions. Any objection to use the previous roll, which was unanimous? All right, seeing none, 14 ayes, 0 nays, the bill's given a favorable report. Thank you, Mr. Senator, or Representative Raff.
No, they don't get that.
I know.
That one of my house members. Don't hear that. They don't get that.
They're not going
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, committee members.
Mr. Chairman,
All right, Senator Sessions.
I know you're on a good roll here, but I want to point out one thing. On House Bill 132, that's the companion to Senator Livingston's bill.
Okay.
And if I could bring it back up and give that a favorable report, it's the one that medical cannabis could be considered not an agricultural product, and we don't want that. So this is what that's what we were using the vehicle to make sure it gets taxed.
Okay. If you don't mind, let me roll down and we'll circle back to it. And don't let us adjourn and we'll revisit it.
All right.
All right, clerk, call the next bill, please.
House Bill 175 by Representative Garrett.
All right, this is the rebate bill. We do have a substitute to comport with what the conference committee and both chambers did on, I guess these were Thursday. So this substitute brings the Senate bill that did pass in compliance with that Senate bill that both chambers agreed to.
Mr. Chairman.
No other changes. Senator, 150 per taxpayer. Everything else is the same that, like I said, that we passed. Senator Smitherman.
That's all right. You know,
It's early.
I know that was an accident. You know, we were together too early this morning. That's what happened. No, I was just going to go move
All right.
favorite report. That's all.
Motion on the substitute. Second, Senator Roberts. Any discussion? All right. Any objection to the previous roll? All right. 14 ayes, 0 nays. The substitute is adopted. Is there a motion on the bill now?
So move.
All right. Senator Smitherman, Senator Roberts. Any discussion? Any objection to the previous roll? Seeing none. 14 ayes, 0 nays. Bill is given a favorable report. All right. Call the next bill.
House Bill 293 by Representative Brown.
Oh, Representative Brown, your day in the sun is here. Talk about ports.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. What we have is it's the port credit bill, and what that really does is it's current law that to extend credits to those that ship through our ports in Alabama. And so what we've really done here, we've kept the cap at 12 million, so we're not increasing the cap. So all we're really doing is we're going, and currently if you ship an increase of, let's say, 5%, or you ship 25%, an improvement of 5 or 25% annually, you get the same credit. So what we've done is we've just added a couple of lines. Really on page 4, there's a graph that has a breakdown of increasing the credits, and they're done by TEUs, which is the 20-foot equivalent unit for shipping through our ports, or through kilograms shipping through airports. So what this does is going to make us more competitive against our neighboring states. And, you know, it's trying to move that ball and make us more competitive to get people to ship more out of the Alabama ports.
And before I call on Senator Smitherman, the operative words were
Did not increase the cap.
Not increase the
Exactly.
cap, but
That's
you're going to
right.
make it more effective
That's
to
right.
be able to be used. Right now, it's well below the cap. Is that
That's correct. That's correct. And one of the reasons I believe in having talked to industry is that our incentives are not where they need to be competitive against our neighboring states. And so this puts us more in line with those without increasing the cap or you know, it keeps us there. So.
okay? Senator Smitherman?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I mean, I think it's good what you're trying to do, but you know, I have this analysis I use about airplanes and wings, and the wings sometimes it's incidental. So we talking about the wings right now. The plane looks good, what you're trying to do, but what's going to happen in these areas where we have smaller ports that are trying to come on board, like Birmingham Port? You know, we have up there, for instance, and if, you know, we opening the, you know, and I know that, as Mr. Chairman said, we're not using it all now. But my concern is that, you know, lack of a better word, the big boy get locked in on, they get it, and then now these little ones coming, and we got a cap on it for 12 million. And now there's no more money there for these little ones. And that's going to be survival for them. This is profit for them. But we talking about survival.
Sure.
So what in here is going to safeguard that, well, you know, they automatically going to be renewed. And then when you automatically renew, they ain't no more 12 million. Okay, so how are we going to protect that? And that's important to me. I'm serious when I say that. So either you got it in here or we need to put it in here, you know, when it gets to the floor, and y'all probably have to concur if that's something we have to do.
Well, I appreciate that, Senator. Yeah, you know, right now the bulk of the companies that have used the existing credit are, you know, Warrior Met Coal, U.S. Steel, and Walmart used it when they're building a distribution center. And so what this really is aimed at is just open it up for more companies to become involved and for using it as an economic development tool. I think it actually helps the facility you're talking about up there in Birmingham, because what it's going to do, it's going to broaden and make it easier for those companies, more inviting for those companies to ship. So I think it actually benefits some of our smaller ports in particular. So I like it. I think it's a good opportunity for us to see where we go. If it does do what you're wanting to do, not wanting to do, then I think we come back and relook at it. And that's why on the cap side and not increasing the cap, if we end up maxing out, we can come back and revisit that issue and look at it and say, do we need to increase the cap because it's popular enough? That's the goal, really, that it's popular enough that people are really using it, because right now we're just losing out to Georgia and South Carolina in particular.
Okay. All right. Well,
Mr. Chairman,
Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Senator.
Senator, the way I look at this, Representative Brent, don't you think this will increase our ports of call, if you will, in the number of ships that are coming in to the hub, which will, I think, will help drive Decatur, Birmingham, and others on getting down there. But one of the things, a lot of guys that are moving lots of volume through there, the containers he's talking about, I think one problem we have in Mobile in particular is the ports of call. Who calls on Mobile? They're going to be in New Orleans, they're going to be in Savannah, they may not be in Mobile. And I think the goal would be to increase those that stop by our ports, which would lower cost per ton or per box as you look at that way. We want more ships pulling into Mobile Port, which just increases volume and hopefully will decrease price, I think is the goal here.
okay. Thank you, sir.
All right, let me say this before we have a final motion and vote. I hope that your committee, working with the Fred chair, will look at these inland ports and intermodal. We spent last week a lot of money helping the Mobile port. That's good, but it only helps the Mobile port, is the Senator Smitherman saying all these inland ports are either through barges, bringing goods down the river, through the Tentom, et cetera. I know Senator Singleton has an inland port in his area, very interested in, and then rail intermodal, how that connects coming out of Mobile and all through the state. I know Montgomery, we had legislation. Senator Hatcher had a couple years ago that's helped Montgomery, working on Birmingham. I think there's one envisioned for the north. So, if you two gentlemen can help push that, you'll certainly help all of our state, not just one area of our state.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. And actually, that's going to be one of our focuses in the next session. We already have a study committee formed to look at that issue, to look at how we can benefit our inland ports and our intermodal sites and the ones that are going to come on board, particularly in Northwest Alabama, to help with the automotive industry.
Well, remember to work with our Senate chairman as well, if you
We
can,
will.
please.
Oh,
All right.
definitely.
All right. Is there a motion? All right. Senator Roberts, Senator Smitherman seconds. Any other discussion? Any objection to the previous roll? All right. 14 ayes, 0 nays. The bill is given favorable report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Next
Thank
bill.
you, members.
Thank you, Representative.
House Bill 315 by Representative Starnes.
Representative Starnes.
Mr. President, Mr. Chairman,
Senator Smitherman.
for me, all I need to do is see what they're trying to do on there, and that's help these widows, people being killed. So if it's something y'all know that's not good about it, I move for favorable report. We need to help them.
All right. Is there a Senate bill that's passed? Or I don't know if it went to another committee. All right. Senator Smitherman moves. Senator Figures seconds. Any discussion? Any objection to the previous roll? Seeing none. 14 ayes, 0 nays. HB 315 is given a favorable report. Clerk, call the next bill.
Bill 334 by Representative Garrett.
All right. Representative Garrett came up. I said I'd be glad to handle it. I think he had somewhere else to be. This bill is for special needs children. The fiscal note, if I recall correctly, it was a few $1 million on the SUN Act.
What?
Mr. Chairman.
Under the accountability scholarship program for special needs children, and there was a small fiscal note on this. Question?
Mr. Chairman.
No, she was her.
There's figures.
She was her.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. How is this supposed to work, and will these children get a certain amount of the scholarship the way they are in the other legislation that was passed for vouchers for children who want to go to another school? The school choice bill?
As I read the fiscal note, and Mr. Fulford can dispute me, 5,600, is that correct? 5,600 a year. I think it's similar to the Accountability Act, but strictly
why
for
wouldn't these
special
children be
needs children.
Why wouldn't they be included in that bill as well?
I don't know, Senator.
I mean, because they are a student within that system or whatever. I don't see why we need two separate bills.
Oh, okay.
Senator Smithman?
Well, no, I was just wondering why couldn't they just use that bill rather than this additional?
Question.
Let me go to Senator Smithman and we'll come back to you. Senator Smithman.
If you don't mind, Mr. Chairman, I'll yield to Senator. He hadn't been saying.
Senator Singleton?
No, I just want to know, currently, how much money are we putting in the school system for special need children versus this 56 that's going out?
I don't think it's going to vary by child. I don't know if we have an average. You know, some are going to need a full-time aide. Some may have an aide that covers 2 or 3 children.
I just see this pattern that every time we give a choice, the kids that get the choice get more than the kids who have to stay there at the schools.
Left behind.
Like in the Accountability Act, we're spending $9,000 per child. I mean $6,000 per child, but we're giving those who want to move $10,000 per child. If this is something we're moving kids and we're letting kids stay in the school, and they're not getting help for but $2,000, I just think it's inequitable.
Mr.
That's
Hamp,
all.
Senator Smithman.
I shouldn't have let him spoke, or you took what I was going to say. And Zach got my mouth. You reached over him. If it's not in there, this is what I was going to say further, what he was just saying. If it's not in there, I want an amendment. I want some support on it, too, saying that those kids who are in the system can qualify. If we got somebody that they don't, it's not a failing school, then it shouldn't be tacked on to some third group out there that's not failing, but they want to get. I'm not trying to eliminate them. I'm saying that this bill ought to say that it applies to any school child that has that special need, because when they what is that, educators, the IOP, what that is? IAP? IOP. When you get the IOP for this special needs student, that they may need a special person with them sitting in that classroom just for them. So instead of paying that salary, whatever it is, for the teacher that's teaching 25, you got to pay the salary for the teacher that's teaching just this one. And because that's the kind of need they have. And I can tell you, our public schools do not have the resources to provide this individual what you said? IEP, the IEP to substantially follow through the IEP because you don't have the resources. And so if it doesn't, and somebody can tell me now if it doesn't, but if it doesn't, I like to put an amendment on in here that says that it can be used for any student that has a IOP or
Senator Smithman,
whatever.
Let me interject. The staff just told me this is for any child. It's child focused that are special needs children. So
in any kind of situation. Does it say that?
He's nodding yes, and it's 95% of what the state spends. Is that of the foundation program?
Now let me clear this up though. Let me clear it, and y'all clear me up. I'm talking about in excess. You understand what I'm saying? Because he just said it over there. You giving somebody 10,000 over there, these little kids getting 6. And then now we're talking about, we budget for it and it's in the system. No, I'm talking about they need to get the bonus amount, 4 more, so they can be 10, or they need to get, if it's 6,900, that we would give to these people we were talking about, that it doesn't matter. They could be I guess homeschool or whatever they are. It doesn't matter. They need to get this in addition. So now, does it give in addition? Not rolled up into the program when we pass the budget that we put in a certain amount. Like at Rich, we put 20-some million in there. Just like if we got a situation already in public school where we put, and I just pick a figure, 30 million in there for students like this. If we coming back with this, then those students need to get the amount above the normal amount that we giving the students, a regular student that does not have these special needs. Y'all get what I'm saying? I don't want to fold it into what we giving these students, saying it's included in that. And we turning around giving all this excess money to people who apply individually. I would like for it to apply the same dollar amount to these kids in public schools. I don't know what, you understand what I'm saying? I don't know how.
Yeah, I don't think there are any extra dollars that you would get going through this program that you wouldn't have available in the public schools. But here's what I'd like to do, and I apologize. Chairman Garrett said he had another meeting, so I said, well, I think we'll handle them. Let me do this. If the committee would, if we'll report it out, I'll make sure that Chairman Garrett gets with you all. We'll talk about amendments or whatever. I don't know who he has handling this bill on the floor. It might be me, and I've got some homework to do, which is fine, but was not prepared with the details.
Let's move it in. Let's move it on out, because it's a good bill.
We have a motion and a second. Senator Gudger's
I don't know that it's a good bill, Senator.
I'm talking about intent.
You want to say?
Just reading this on line
I don't know what the
33 through
intent
line
is.
40. So the two things that step out to me is the IEPs are in here, Senator Smitherman, for anything, it looks like, and then also for, well, I would think of as special needs, but also for learning disabilities if they have an IEP. But the question I have, is this redundant if we've already got the Accountability Act, which is back to what I think Senator Figures was saying earlier. Do we need this bill if we've already got the Accountability Act? And so that's just something I'd like to talk to you about before it hits the floor.
I will find out, or find the sponsor that Chairman Garrett has lined up. So we got a motion and a second. We want to call the long roll, or we have
I just one little unread.
Senator Smithman?
I definitely would like some interpretation of page 3. I mean, I see these 1, 2, 3s, and 4s, and I don't know. I don't know how they implement it, into how they handle. I don't know what relationship that has to what I was saying. So I just wanted, Mr. Chairman,
Okay.
mention
All right.
that's a second.
I'll go do my homework. I'll add it to the list.
That's all.
All right. Did you want to call it a fresh roll, or do we want to just, okay, it's seeing no objection, 14 ayes, 0 nays, with the understanding the chairman's got some homework to do. HB 334 is given a favorable report. Clerk, call the next bill.
House Bill 445 by Representative Garrett.
All right, this is a bill we have seen before. We've got a substitute coming around. When we passed the Growing Alabama Sweet Home Tourism Investment Act, Chairman Garrett heard my concerns, and maybe that of those of others, about the retroactivity of the credit, and he wanted to clarify that, so he filed a bill to make sure that the credit was not, or rebates were not retroactive. And that's what this bill does, along with making a few technical edits regarding the populations and some other things that we did in the Jobs Act. Is there any?
What'd you say about we did in the Jobs Act?
This, remember, with a Sweet Home Alabama tourism.
Oh, yeah.
It was part of the Jobs Act. And remember, this committee didn't like my amendment that I had. And then we went to the floor and we kind of said, I can't believe you folks are doing this, but we did it
That's what you
anyway. That's
I remember
right.
that.
Chairman Garrett heard all that and said, well, maybe my counterpart has a point. So he filed this bill to make sure that the rebate was not retroactive. So a project we can't go back in time. It's all prospective in time.
You still got your bill live? You want to substitute your bill for this?
I wish I could. All right. We got a substitute for us. Is there a motion? All right. Senator Allen, is there a second? Senator Hovey, any discussion on substitute? Any objection to the previous roll? 13 ayes. We lost one. 0 nays. The substitute is adopted. Motion on the bill.
So move.
Senator Smitherman, second by Senator Albritton. Any objection? Seeing none. 13 ayes, 0 nays. The bill is given a favorable report. Now, Senator Sessions.
If I think y'all heard me explain, this is the
We're going to call back up. You want to call back up?
132, House Bill 132 by Smith.
All right.
It's the,
Explain this to me.
remember a couple of years ago, Senator Livingston passed a thing to where I could boil my peanuts and sell them and didn't have to add tax to it. Yeah. Well, according to the Sweet Grown Alabama, medical cannabis may have been in that category, so they want to make sure that medical cannabis could be taxed.
Okay.
This, if I'm explaining this correct, Representative Smith has made it, so if he would like to say something about the bill, he can, but it's a companion to Senator Livingston's that we've already passed in the Senate.
Thank you, and sorry for my tardiness. This is to protect the small farm that would be adding value to crops. For example, strawberries, you don't have to pay sales tax on it. But if you process them into jams or jellies, then you have to pay tax on that. Same way with cucumbers to pickles. And so what we're trying to make sure that medical marijuana or cannabis is not counted as a family farm type situation. So that's what we're doing to try to protect that.
Move favorable.
But it's not stated in this bill. It just says that this bill
think
will
it refers
clarify
to the
that
code.
products under Chapter 2A or Title 20 are excluded from the producer value added agricultural.
That would be the
exemption.
code that covers the medical cannabis.
That's correct.
Okay.
All right.
I move.
Senator Sessions moves, is seconded by Senator Allen. Any other discussion on the bill? All right. Seeing none, any objection to the previous roll? All right. 13 ayes, 0 nays. The bill is given a favorable report.
Good job, Senator Sessions.
Anybody know anything about Representative Ellis's bill? Okay. Anybody here on that bill? HB 51? Okay. All right. We are adjourned. We'll see you this afternoon at 2:15. They're going to change it in the system and give us 45 minutes. 2:15.
Wait a minute, we
This
got another
afternoon.
committee meeting though at 2. We got
I
tourism.
think you only got one bill.
We got two bills and 2 public hearings.
public hearings?
Yeah.
All right. Check that. 2:30. 2:30. 2:30.
Yeah. Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.